Right, 179 people died in this horrible accident just before New Year's Eve, and this is one of the worst accidents in the aviation industry. Let me get you up to date in simple plain English, and then I want to share how this accident could have been avoided, or did it not even have a chance? Jeju Air 2216 took off from Thailand and was bound to South Korea. Everything was a-okay until it was ready to land, when we see that there was a confirmed bird strike resulting in engine failure. We do not know yet that it was the only engine that was affected by the bird strike or the other engine was affected as well. Because of the bird strike, the plane lost its power to fly. That resulted into pilots declaring an emergency and they chose not to land. Instead, they decided to go all across the runway and land from the opposite side of the runway. Let me quickly explain why they might have done that. Sometimes planes are not in the perfect speed, weight, or distance on the runway to attempt the landing. So pilots, in order to buy more time, they go around the runway so that it brings the plane in the best optimal situation to land on the runway with the perfect speed, weight, position on runway, etc, etc. In this case, they did a half turnaround and they chose to land on the other end of runway. So they needed time, but they were also losing time. And now, as from the video, you might ask me why the landing gear, which means the wheels, are not down. That's because plane becomes heavier when the wheels are down, hence reducing the already low power that the plane has. In this situation, plane has become a glider who is gliding using the altitude that it has but no thrust power. Here's when I want to pull you back a bit and I want you to watch this clip from Maverick Top Gun. Do you remember this scene from Maverick Top Gun? This net/cloth looking thing is stopping the jet to overrun from the aircraft carrier. This same way, we have something by the name EMAS system which slows down the plane significantly in the case of overrun, with or without landing gear. Those things are designed just for the reason that planes, if they overrun, which they actually do more often than you think they would, it's designed to stop it in case of high speeds or if it doesn't have a landing gear so that it doesn't leave beyond the compound of the airport. In this case, the airport did not have EMAS systems installed. Instead, they had this rigid, strong concrete wall just at the end of the runway. And that's when you see that the plane, with all its velocity, hit into that concrete wall, turning into a giant ball of fire. So the question now becomes that, could this incident have been avoided if the EMAS system would have been installed? If it would have been installed, the plane, although landed on its belly, would have stopped because of EMAS system and would not have collided into that concrete structure, resulting that the plane would not have blown up into fire, and I firmly believe that much more lives could have been saved. Next question I have is, why did pilots decide to go and have a turnaround? I mean, they lost the engine, so they were losing their power, but they were approaching landing anyways. So when you're approaching landing, your aircraft is aligned at the middle of the runway. In an idle situation, your weights and speed is already in check. So again, I'm no expert, but I would think that if you're already there with some reduced thrust, you should just approach landing. And either way, they landed on their belly from the other side of runway. So the question of deploying landing wheels, landing gears or not, I don't think it's in the question. Yeah, so that's something that stays in my mind. I will follow much more going on. If you find this kind of videos useful, helpful, something up your taste, please give me a follow, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next week, same day, same time. Thank you for tuning in and see you next week. Bye-bye.